Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The demo officially came out yesterday. I played it all night. Took me a couple hours. I was just waiting for the demo to drop, and now that we got it, I got to sink my teeth into it. I'm stoked for the launch of the final game coming out. I love the world of Final Fantasy VII. I wish all the Final Fantasy games were just in that universe. I think it feels like warm apple pie to me. Playing with these characters that we grew up playing throughout all the years. We see Cloud, we see Tifa, and in this demo, we get a glimpse of, I guess, a introduction, a tutorial of sorts, that if you play the demo, you get to skip it. You don't have to play this mission in the final game. And I gotta say, this demo was actually really long, and as far as the demo goes, it's really well done. It sets the stage for what's going on. So you are basically doing the Nibelheim flashback where Cloud and Sephiroth and the Shinra soldiers go to the Mako reactor that's over there, and you have Tifa guiding you, and you learn how to use your combat. The combat from Final Fantasy VII Remake, for the most part, seems unchanged. You know, you get your abilities, you get your spells, you have access to items, you can attack in real time, and depending on how much AP you have built up, it depends on what kind of abilities you're able to do. You get to fight your fair share of basic monsters on the way to the reactor, and you have some cutscenes that give a little bit more of a different perspective and angle from this flashback that we've seen in other games. We've seen the same flashback from the perspective of other characters, like in Crisis Core Reunion. We've seen a different side of things from a different character. I want to try to give too much spoilers. I know some of this gameplay might give spoilers. I know there's a lot of people who are anticipating this game. They don't want to see too much of the cutscene, so I'm going to try my best. But anyways, it follows the journey where Cloud is telling Barrett and Tifa and the rest of the party after they left Midgar, and he's just cluing them up in the hotel and telling them what happened when him and Sephiroth went to the reactor. So that's the main premise of it. This demo is actually quite linear. Unfortunately, we don't get to see too much of the open world aspect of the game that we're being promised, but within the next couple weeks, there will be an update to this demo that features the open world aspect as well as some more combat that is party based. In this one, we only had Sephiroth and Cloud teaming up together, which there's a new element of combat in here. It's synergy attacks, so your characters are able to do a synergy attack that kind of, I guess, it's some kind of like special ability. It was actually really cool. You got to use it in the boss fight that was featured in this game. There's only one huge major boss fight. The rest is just casual exploration elements of the area that you're in around the reactor, getting to attack the enemies and stuff, and then a lot of cutscenes. It was really cutscene heavy, but I gotta tell you guys, the graphics look great, the cutscenes look great. Even when you're in the actual gameplay and you have Cloud, like there was a segment where I was in the elevator, Cloud was really close to the game camera. He looked great. There wasn't much in way of glitches or anything like here. At times, yeah, it would be funny if your character would like randomly just walk on top of a table, or, you know, they felt a little loosey-goosey at times, but overall it was all right. Some slight puzzle elements when it comes to vacuuming, I guess, remnants of the chemicals from the reactor and the materia and stuff like that. A basic materia tutorial was in here as well. The music, I mean, who doesn't love the Final Fantasy VII OST? The music here, I feel, shined the most. Yeah, the graphics looked great. Everything looked like this real cinematic feel and everything. But the OST complemented everything that you saw in here. It, like, followed the atmosphere directly, whether it was a cutscene, whether it was the actual gameplay itself. I absolutely adored it. Now, the demo itself took maybe like 2 hours, little over 2 hours for me, and when I was finished with it, I was like, wow, that definitely set the stage. And again, I don't want to get in way of spoilers, but we all know what happens once they get to the reactor. Sephiroth makes this discovery about his past. He finds the lab underneath the mansion, and he starts to read all the books, and he just goes ape shit and turns the whole village into fire. And then, you know, him and Cloud have like a stare down as he walks away, and you know, it was in the past. So that's basically where the demo leaves us at this point, which I'm still immensely looking forward to the fully finished game. I'm looking forward to seeing what they switch up, what we get different, because, you know, Final Fantasy VII Remake did change and tweak a little bit of things here or there. So I'm hoping, hopefully, we get some changes that add some excitement to it. Because if it's going to be a 1-to-1 remake, I don't care for that. It's almost like, hey, I've played this, I've rehashed it, other than it just having some new makeup on it. To me, the excitement comes from stuff that they've changed. New areas to access, new missions to access. And unfortunately, this demo, as great and ultimate as it was, because it was a fantastic fucking demo, there wasn't anything new that we hadn't seen yet. I remember I was telling one of my friends, Alt Old, I was like, hey, you know, it feels like I've already done this in Crisis Core. And he's like, yeah, but they, you know, they switched a couple things. And yeah, they did. There was enough. There was different, you know, perspectives and stuff that we haven't seen. It always goes back to that flashback segment of the whole journey where they go to the reactor for the first time and Sephiroth discovers the truth about himself. It always goes back to it. I think that's kind of like the Nexus event of all Final Fantasy VII. And it's like they always add a new perspective or a new change or a new sequence or something. So really cool, really well done. I'm excited for this. If you play the demo and you have the save file from the demo, you do get to have that progression saved in your final game. So I'm guessing this is the prelude or the prologue to the Final Fantasy Rebirth game that's coming out. So once you play this demo and you get through it, you don't have to play through this demo on the finished version. The next update, I think you will still have to do that. It's just going to be like an open-ended environment. But you also get access to some accessories, I believe, if you have save file from Final Fantasy VII Remake, as well as the demo. I think, and you complete the upcoming demo update, I think you get like some special accessories or materia in the final version of the game. I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but this demo definitely made me want to seriously consider picking up the digital deluxe version of it so I can play it ASAP. They're going to be having a preload coming. And again, this was fantastic. If you're not a fan of Final Fantasy VII or you just haven't played it for any reason, if you buy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth digitally, you get Final Fantasy VII Remake free. Yeah, you get it free. You get Final Fantasy VII Remake with the DLC free. Or at least that's what I'm led to believe. I think you get it completely. You get both of the games. So you'll be able to play it and experience it. There's also a story so far segment. If you're playing the demo, you can click it and just see the story so far if you don't have time to play it all for yourself. This is going to be a very monumental game. It's going to be fantastic. It's one that is for the ages, and I absolutely loved it. Again, Final Fantasy VII holds a special place in my heart. I think the demo was a couple hours, hour and a half, 2 hours. I want to say it took me a little over 2 hours because I was taking my time looking at the environment, looking at the graphics, exploring as much as I could. Unfortunately, everything is pretty linear. There's not too many secret items or anything off the beaten path. In fact, it kind of forces you to stay on the side because your character moves very sluggish. But it basically was a fucking nice example of the game. Served it right up. Like, increased my hype so much for it. And seeing how Rebirth compares to a Remake was exciting. I was excited for it. And again, it revisited the flashback. It was a pivotal moment in the original game. And if you haven't played it, it still does a good job of translating that. So you play as Cloud. The combat wasn't much changed, but it is a little bit faster, I think. It definitely is dynamic with the synergy abilities, where the two characters team up for devastating moves. And the boss fight in the game was actually really intense. You had to use strategy, you had to use teamwork because it could grab like your character and hold the other one, and then you had to try to find the weakness and stuff like that. But one thing that was unique about this demo is that it showcased the concept of actually having to like climb up. I don't remember that much in Remake, but there was areas of the segment where you had to actually use certain like pieces of wood and stuff climbing up like the mountain. And when you think of like the aspect of the open world exploration that's going to come in the full release, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays. Climbing up the mountain and using it and exploring and seeing different routes and stuff like that. I would love to see how that's incorporated. I would really love to see what they change as far as an open world, because even Remake didn't have that much open world elements to it as well. It was more like a linear chapter select thing. So I'm looking forward to having a bigger fuller game here. So hopefully the next update showcases that. Now, again, like I said, the graphics are jaw-dropping. This looks like a beautiful game. It took full advantage of the PlayStation 5's power. PlayStation 5's power. And the voice acting was great in here. The dialogue, everything, it all added to the original plot. Like, hearing Cloud narrate what went down is so cinematic of a feel that it does this complete justice to such a pivotal moment in the story of Final Fantasy VII, and made the iconicness, just so much better. And overall, I think this demo perfectly sets the stage for Rebirth. It has me hyped. Yeah, it's a tutorial. Yeah, it's a teaser. That's what a demo is. But I feel that this was a thrilling experience for the demo. This was one of the best demos I ever played in my life. I can't wait to play the game day one. I'm definitely buying this. So what are your thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Are you excited for it? Do you have like a little bit of apprehension because you feel they're going to fuck it up? I would love to know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video out. Share it to one person, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching, and I can't wait for the next update of this demo. It's going to be awesome.